Well, after 5:30, so we'll go ahead and get started for the Wednesday, November 18th meeting of the, 2020 meeting of the EDC. First order on the agenda is the introduction of our newest member, Lori Wagner. And I'm delighted to have Lori be joining our team. And would like her to just take a few minutes to introduce herself and a little bit about her background.
All right, hopefully I think my microphone is on. So my name is Lori Wagner. I'm a Simsbury native, but I did leave for about 16 years and lived in Southern Connecticut and then moved back to Simsbury about 7 years ago now. My career has mostly been in marketing and advertising. And I've worked on brands, not-for-profits, innovations, a myriad of different clients over the course of that career. And when we moved back to Simsbury, I started just consulting with marketing. And then I also opened up a small business downtown called Hello Lovely. And we have 2 spots now. One's in Simsbury and one is in Lakeville. So when the spot came open, I thought it was interesting and that I was a good match for it because I had the marketing background and own a business in town. So I'm hoping that that I can be helpful in any way, shape, or form.
I'm sure that will not be a problem. So welcome aboard. We're delighted to have you as a member of the team.
Thank you.
And I do need to introduce you to Charmaine Seavey, who has a very similar background. And from a networking perspective, it's always good to make some connections along the way. So,
yeah, happy to.
Thank you.
Great to have you on board.
Okay, next item on the agenda is just a quick oral report. I did get an email from Sarah yesterday that she could not make tonight's meeting. She was going to try to send an updated email to me, but obviously with everything going on, she's extremely busy and was unable to do so. She did mention that the brand refresh agreement was sent to Maria last week for the marketing program, so just awaiting her signature. So we'll talk more about that when we get into our various programs. So that's it from Sarah. One question, is everybody getting emails from Sarah when she provides update about what's going on in the town?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, Bob,
Okay.
I am. Yep. Confirmed.
Good. Because I thought the one she sent from Mary Brett about the state of all the various businesses in town was extremely informative and very, very helpful. So just want to make sure everybody's getting those. Is Morgan on the line? All right, so we'll go to Andrew for a quick update from the library.
Yeah, so business related, there was a lot of interest in the new business assistance grant that the state of Connecticut is doing for the $5,000 grant for business. Did an email release on that, had a lot of people asking questions on that. And then they've got the official form and everything is up, and it sounds like it has proved very popular with small businesses. In the library, Chris Carney and myself have been very busy with notarization. I don't know if there's a lot of locations that aren't providing that service yet because of the pandemic or not, but I've probably been doing 4 or 5 every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon. The library is open, so that's been interesting how busy we've been with that.
And it sounds like, given the current state of affairs, that the library will be running on a limited schedule for the month.
Yeah, we have no plans at this time. I know we are talking about possibly extending our Saturday hours, but that's not complete yet. So we'll have to see. What is kind of alarming is I'm on the Connecticut Library Association mail list, and how many libraries have announced they are rolling back and closing their doors again. There's been about 6 or 7 libraries now that have gone ahead and closed back up because of the infection rate in the area they're located. So hopefully we'll still have the green light here for us and things won't get that severe.
Yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed. Okay. Any other updates on business recovery? Maria, anything to add, given the state of affairs in the state of Connecticut?
No, nothing to add. I'll just add quickly for folks who need to conduct business at Town Hall in person, similar to the library. At this point in time, we haven't rescinded our limited walk-in hours. We are really doing our best to try to keep those limited hours for walk-ins available. We're just continuing to monitor the situation very closely and continually reevaluating. And again, when we did have to be completely shut down, we did find that most people we're able to conduct most business virtually if needed. But again, we're really reluctant to have to roll back those limited hours. So we're all doing our best at the library and Town Hall to try and keep those walk-in hours available.
Good. Very good. Thank you. Okay. Second item on the agenda was the EDC draft work plan for 2020 and 2021. On the back of the agenda page is the work plan to date. And, as I went through here, I mean, we're going to talk about the updates to each one of these. And as we go through this, is there, I guess my general question is, does everybody feel like they have an assignment that they're interested in working on, or if there's something more that they want to be doing, that we get you assigned with a proper team? And I'm thinking, Tom, in particular to you, you feel like you got enough on your plate?
Oh, me, Bob? I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm on the business outreach where we're on those calls with the businesses. But I can certainly do more. I sent something, I think I sent to Maria. She had asked the question, I could get involved in the any of the other activities that you would need help with, the entrepreneur idea, any ideas that we have on that list, I'll be glad to help out with.
Okay.
Great. Thanks, Tom. And I think, Melissa, would you mind scrolling down just a bit? I think we added you to supporting entrepreneurs, particularly with the co-working space. I think it might be
that's
the
what
last.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we did add you there.
Okay, good.
So if I can help Peter out or Ron in that area, that's in the one below that. Yeah, the support the entrepreneurs is fine. Anything that Peter needs help with, or Ron, or anybody on the staff.
Okay, so we can talk about this in just a minute, but on Tom, on support entrepreneurs, Tom Fitzgerald, if you just leave that page alone just a second. Support infrastructure for entrepreneurs, promote access to business resources, information, and infrastructure. Is there, Peter, can you give an update on, or Ron, where we are with all that at the moment? And what's coming to my mind is, I was over talking with Morgan earlier this week about some things, and her Wi-Fi was going up and down again, and not working real well there. And there she is on Main Street, and with all the businesses up and down Main Street, again, some issues and challenges with Wi-Fi. And I know we've talked about it in the past, but is there anything we can be doing there to help promote or enhance our Wi-Fi capability on Route 10?
Bob, Peter here, and I have to say, no, I have not spun up anything. Although the last two business outreach has reiterated the need for not just IT infrastructure, but for just basic power structure. So it's something that I have to work on.
Power structure, can you define that a little better?
Yeah, the fact that both Dyno and EB both had issues with Eversource as far as maintaining power levels for their manufacturing operations.
They had issues with just basic internet. So, one point years ago, we kind of looked at bringing fiber into or what could we do to bring fiber into the town. I don't know if that's any more stable, but it's certainly faster. But our conversation with the EBAD president was saying how many people they've shifted off site now and how important it is to have good bandwidth so that they can communicate back and forth. Fair number of the people that are off site are engineers, and the stuff they're pushing back and forth is more than just text. So they have a strong need for that kind of strong internet support.
So not knowing our parameters here, but at what point does the business have responsibility for addressing those issues themselves, and at what point can the town step in and help support or enable that? I don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah,
Yep.
my experience with the cable companies, they'll wait until they get a certain amount of customers they think are willing to pay for the more expensive, and then they'll start to think about bringing it in. That's why I think we had before, maybe having the town put a little pressure on them to say, hey, how about we bring it in first? How can we facilitate that so then there'll be more people that will buy in? It's kind of the chicken and the egg situation.
And Bob, Peter here. One thing is, in my past life as working on the health insurance exchange here in Connecticut, talking to some folks that have been involved in that, the idea of telehealth medicine has come up. And of course, that is dependent upon the IT infrastructure, not just for when they do a Zoom call, but porting radiological and other healthcare information, both it has size and security implications. But what I got through my thick skull is that is something that a couple of the people that I worked with are starting to work with on a state level. I don't know what the possibility is, but I was going to make common cause with them, and will.
Yeah, I would think bandwidth in that particular application would be extremely important. And I don't know whether, and Maria and Tom or Mike, excuse me, how much responsibility does the town have, or should they have, or can they have, if you will, in trying to enable some of these higher bandwidth capabilities, along Route 10 to help support our business community? Where do we draw the line on that? I don't know the answer to that. Any guidance?
I think, when this work stream really starts to get going on this, we'll probably have to meet, and we may also want to include our IT manager on some of the conversation. I think what Melissa and I have seen in some of our, our amongst our peers around the country is that oftentimes municipalities in other parts of the country, when they feel as if they're not getting a very good response from the utility that's providing internet services, sometimes they'll just take matters into their own hands, if you will, and they build that infrastructure themselves. And then they will essentially run, the broadband as a municipal utility. Unfortunately, in Connecticut, we're not able to do that. I know that's something for a long time. A number of IT folks in the municipal world have been really advocating for a change to that. But again, at this point in time, we aren't able to run our own municipal utility. I think it would probably be more so at this point, being strong advocates for it and working closely with utility companies, but knowing that we wouldn't necessarily be able to go down the path of potentially building out that infrastructure ourselves for our residents to then be able to essentially purchase that service. Okay. But again, I think that as the work group on this starts to get going, we can kind of talk about some history and maybe ideas around this.
Okay. So we would advocate, we would lobby, we would do whatever we can to.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I guess the point is we need to elevate that in our supporting entrepreneurs. as far as infrastructure goes, is probably one of the main ones. The other one that brought up an EBAD was was traffic, which you don't really think of, or I don't think of in Simsbury, but that was an issue they had. I don't know if there's anything we can do about that, but had an issue of traffic on Main Street there.
Stopping when the lights are flashing on Route 10. Most of the time people do. Sometimes they don't, and it gets a little scary there. So yeah, I understand that one. Okay, let's get into the various work streams. First one up is the business incentive policy. Tom and Peter, we're going to update. I think we've submitted everything. We're just waiting for, are we waiting? I don't know, Maria, were you able to present that to the Board of Selectmen? Has it been approved?
It hasn't yet. So we had staff do the final sort of review, including our assessor and finance director. Mike and Melissa helped as well. Bob is currently doing a final review just to ensure that what we have in the policy complies with current statutes regarding various abatements. We were really hoping to bring that right before Thanksgiving, but we do just need a little bit more time. So we have it tentatively slated for the board's meeting in December.
Okay, so we're still targeting.
Really close, but we're really close. Yeah.
We're still targeting January for January 2021.
That would be the hope, right, for implementation. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, Peter, quick update on co-working spaces.
Yeah, and I have not much to, I don't have anything to update the team on. I've gotten some basic interest, but I have not had the time yet to reach out to the various and sundry landlords to gauge their interest.
Okay.
So that's what I have to do.
Okay. And I know Morgan, given the recent spike in the COVID cases and additional focus on that, has been extremely busy responding to a lot of those things as well. So it's been a busy time for everybody. On business outreach, since our last call, we've had meetings with Mitchell Auto and with McLean. Does anybody want to provide a quick update on the Mitchell Auto one? Did everybody get the notes from that? Or Maria's email?
I can speak from memory.
Okay.
Mark was, everyone that I've heard, they've all been very complimentary of Simsbury, and like where they are. One thing Mark was really looking for, and I know Mark from past work I did for the Greater Hartford Auto Dealers for 15 years, and he was president and everything, so I know him. But the one thing he was really interested in was having all the town's vehicles fixed and serviced at his garage, and providing the opportunity to give a good price and keep it in Simsbury and everything. So I don't know who, Maria, in your world, I'm sure there's contracts and that sort of thing, but I mean, it's certainly worth a conversation. So that's one thing. And then also he had petitioned for a long time to get the Jeep dealership, which he's got, which is actually going to be up in Canton area. And, he's kept his people employed, and he's from Simsbury and, forever. So I think he's done, great business in Simsbury. But his question about how to, service town and town trucks and do all that, I thought it was a valid thing for him to ask about. And maybe he's asked before, I don't know, but that was the most interesting part for me anyway. That was my main observation.
They're going to be doing some swapping around of the locations of the dealership. So yeah, you're going to lose the Dodge and Jeep to 44, but something's going to come back to Simsbury. He also has a parcel back there that he wants to do more development on, possibly some retail or some multi-housing combo type parcel, about 10 acres. Back there.
Good. We met with David Bordenello, I'm sure I pronounced his name right, Bordenaro, who's the president of McLean last week, and had nothing but great things to say about his relationship with the town and working with the people in town. Very complimentary of Mike and his team, and considering the development they're currently doing. We've gone through a significant transformation over the last many years, going from primarily nursing home to a full service senior living, providing independent living, as well as continuum of care and memory care, and building out independent units, as well as they're building now, I think 55 apartments for independent living people. And they're building at the back end a beautiful patio that overlooks the Hot Meadow Country Club and a beautiful area. So very positive call. I really appreciated the fact that he had read the questions ahead of time. He had answers to everything. So he was very well prepared, and it was just a pleasure meeting him and hearing about all the things that are going on. The downside is their response to COVID has been extremely challenging for them. Trying to get PPE very early on was very challenging for them. They had 25 patients come down with the virus, and 5 people actually died, which is unfortunate. 25 employees come down with the virus as well. But that's all behind them now. They feel like they're well stocked and well prepared for the winter months ahead of us, and whatever gets thrown their way, they'll respond to. So, but then just again coming back to the fact he's very, very supportive of very happy with the relationship with the town and the things that people have done to help support him. So we'll keep on with him. Tom, I think your note said we're having challenges trying to hook up with Micro Semi and Hoffman Auto to get those things scheduled. If anybody on the call has any relationship with either of those two organizations and can help with introductions to so we could set up a meeting with them, it would be very helpful. And reach out to Tom with whatever contact information you have. The other to-do that I had out of the last meeting was to get with Morgan and go through the list of the various businesses, the second tier of companies we were talking about, and begin to assign people responsibilities for calling on 3 or 4 at a time. And the more I thought about that, I didn't like the idea. I just felt like there's got to be a better way to do this. There's got to be a better way that we can reach out to that second tier level of customers and start to get their input. So I did exchange some emails with Morgan, and I met with her earlier this week to do some brainstorming with her and just try to figure out that there's a better way, a more creative way we can go about this. She has been speaking with, I'm going to forget his first name, Thompson, who owns Sage Financial. What's his first name? I forget. Anyways, they want to restructure the whole government affairs meeting that the chamber held every Tuesday, the first Tuesday of every month, excuse me. And the thought we had was if we take one of those government affair meetings a quarter and dedicate it to kind of a roundtable discussion like we did previously with the roundtables, but we can organize this through the chamber, and I think we'll get more leverage through the chamber as far as attendance is concerned. But bring in these, invite a number of businesses based upon the region, the north end of town, the center of town, south end of town, and have a roundtable discussion with them. Talk about, what's going right with Simsbury, with improvements they'd like to see differently, what have you. We also talked about doing something, just having property managers attend with their businesses, and like Stephen Walker with all of the businesses there at Drake Hill Mall, or David Richmond with the building he has. That's a possibility. But we'd like to do that and structure that around the government affairs meetings as a way of, I think, trying to incent people to attend. But Morgan also talked about we have to find a kind of a hook to figure out a way to make it of value to them. For them to come to us and just give us their input, that's nice. It's good to hear. It's we captured a lot of good stuff the last time we did this, but we didn't see a lot of actionable things come out of that. And so they're kind of wondering, like, where did that information go? What good came of that? So we've got to kind of figure out what's in it for them. And if we can do that, then we think we can find a better way of increasing our attendance. So that's the concept. That's what we're going to try to flesh out. Tom Earl, I'll reach out to you for additional help and support to try to get this off the ground. So stay tuned. We'll keep working on that, and we'll have more to report on at our next meeting. One other thing I wanted to mention was over the summer that myself, Sarah Nielsen, and I pulled Morgan in under this as well, is we were asked to help out with the development of an RFQ for the restaurant up at Simsbury Farms. And the RFQ has been submitted, and through Sarah's help and Morgan's help, we've been able to reach out to the various restaurants here in town to solicit a number of interest in various parties to respond to that. And my last conversation with Tom Tversky was that we've got quite a good number of people that are interested and have submitted, and will be responding to the RFQ. So Sarah, Morgan, and I will continue to monitor that. And hopefully by March of next year, we'll have a new proprietor in the restaurant up at Simsbury Farms. So stay tuned on that as well. Okay. Any updates on the marketing side? Sarah said, Maria, you have the contract for signature, and if so, what's going on, and what are the next steps with that?
Sure. Yep. She did send us the contract for review. So Melissa and I are in the process of reviewing that. And then our town attorney will as well. We're hoping to be able to execute a contract by the end of the month. And then I wasn't sure if maybe Charmaine, would you want to provide an update in terms of scope of work?
As far as all the pages of, I mean, I can't really give a scope of work other than I did talk to Sarah today and said, you know, I think I said before, I mean, Jeff is, you know, excellent for Jeff Dorenberg, and his agency is excellent. Plus he understands Simsbury. So I guess it's kind of the same, but enhanced. I mean, I'd have to pull it up to really look through it again, but I know it's in your court to finally approve. So I don't know if you need more discussion on it or what.
I think that the scope of work, just my 2 cents, the scope of work looks pretty good to me. I think it encompasses everything that we were hoping for or that we've talked about over the last couple months. One thing that was nice to see was that they included some pro bono work in there as well as the town's website, which I think is great. I'm not really sure what details will come of that, but I think that's nice that they did that. So,
well, his overall plan is a bargain. I mean, because he's here and he cares about Simsbury. I mean, if you job that out to a whole bunch of other agencies, you know, some agencies probably charge you double. I mean, that's the facts. So he's really given us a good deal. Good.
We like deals.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's from here, you know, he cares. So he's excellent at what he does.
Great. Okay.
And I wouldn't say that about everybody.
So when do you think we can get execution on the contract and actually begin work? Is there a sense for that?
I guess that would depend on when, after Maria signs it. I'm not sure what his schedule is like.
Yeah. Well, that's good though.
I'm not sure that it's even clearly stated in the contract.
Okay. And, how long do you think it'll take him to, once he gets to go ahead to execute on all this? Is this like a 6-week project or 8-week project, or?
The contract says that it's a 60 to 90 day timeline.
Okay.
I mean, you'd have to check with his exact schedule, but, you know, I would think he could probably at least start on it right after the first of the year. I mean, usually agencies are a little bit more clear after the first of the year, but it's up to his exact client load schedule.
So we might see something by April, May timeframe, main results, if you will.
I would think so.
Yeah. Okay. Just trying to get a sense of expectation. So, okay, good. Anything else to add? Okay, the only other item I want to quickly get an update on that it's not here is on the shadowing program we have. I know, Mike, we've got Tom Earl assigned to one client, if you will, and did Ron sign up for the other one?
Yeah, Ron actually is your liaison to the zoning commission, so he's there. He's always at our meetings. Right now, our workload is a little light. I don't have one of the applications that I was expecting,
Okay.
but there's one on the horizon.
Okay,
Like we said, it's a pretty interesting one that's coming.
okay. All right, so we just have Tom working on that right now, at least as part of that program?
That's the only one that's out there.
Okay, very good. Okay, any other updates?
Michael, do you have an update on that car dealership? You sent me the renderings in late October, and you said they were going to redo them, trying to get the project all into Simsbury. Is that anything changed?
Well, they're still pending. They're before the Canton Planning and Zoning Commission. There is a strong possibility that those plans will be changing. That could come to our way. But it's pending, they could be approved in Canton, and it's still going to be the divide that's on the plans that you have, with just a portion of the car dealership in Simsbury.
Will it come back to Simsbury, to a meeting in Simsbury soon?
No, they're approved in Simsbury unless they move that building. If they move the building, then they'll come back and go through our commissions all over again. Okay. Just because it's going to be a different application. They'll be modifying their previous approval.
Okay. All right, any other updates from the work plans? All right, so the minutes to approve from October 28th, did everybody have a chance to read those? I did have one update I'd like to make. Under Tom, is Tom Fitzgerald on the call?
It's me, Bob. I do the minutes.
Okay. You're taking the minutes, Melissa? Okay, under,
Yep.
On page 2, under item 2, business recovery, line item number D, when I was talking about the CT sustainability team and the matching fund program, the last sentence says, through this program, the state sustainability team would contribute $7,500 and the municipality would contribute the same amount. I don't want to imply that the town of Simsbury is on the hook and therefore the taxpayers of Simsbury are on the hook for the $7,500. The way that the other $7,500 will be collected is through a crowdfunding program.
Okay.
So
okay. So it'll be it's a match, but it's matched that via crowdsourcing, not
yeah. So people in the town would donate based upon their interest in that particular program. So we want to, begin to build a park someplace or build a statue or whatever it is. The people that are really interested in doing that would help support it, and it's not a taxpayer funded program.
Gotcha. Okay, I will make that change.
Very good. That's the only other change I had. Anybody else?
Just wanted to comment on planning and zoning stuff. I don't know if that's coming up, or is that going to be, or are you closing out?
Please do.
Okay. So I'm glad Mike is here. So I'm still trying to wrap my head around this a bit. So the big thing right now is affordable housing. And I sat in on a planning commission meeting that was mostly a public hearing. So there's obviously a lot of input from the public. And then I sat in on the following zoning commission meeting that was a week later or 2 weeks later.
Last Monday.
Yeah, very different outlooks on, I guess, what they want outcomes to be or what the concerns were. So got to be careful about how I interpret it. I guess from people on the planning side were really more concerned about getting as much, at least my perspective, as much affordable housing as possible there didn't seem to be much concern about the impact on the existing culture or of Simsbury, or trying to think what the words were they're using. How the existing status of the town. It's I look at kind of the quintessential New England kind of town. That would seem to be almost a negative to people on planning, that they felt it was too exclusive, that there should be a bigger push to make affordable housing regardless of.
Hey, Ron, can I just make one clarification?
Yep.
I think your comments pertain to the people who spoke.
Correct.
During the planning commission listening session.
Yeah.
The way you were saying it was almost like you were intimating that the planning commissioners held that belief.
Yes. No, I apologize for it, but it was primarily a public hearing. I don't think the planning commissioners had a chance to say much, really.
Well, it was that was by design.
Okay.
It was purely a listening session. We did not want to, start a debate at this point. So we wanted to hear what people in the public had to say.
Understood. So thank you for clarifying. So that's kind of what was coming back from the public hearing end of things. And then on the zoning side, there wasn't really any public input, although one of the alternates on the zoning commission, it was speaking from the public end. So I guess from an economic development impact, we're kind of in a situation where the town has a requirement to meet certain state statutes. And in order to get to 10% affordable housing, which is as defined by the state, which is kind of strange in itself, we're almost at a point where we can't approve or new developments that didn't have a very, very high percentage of affordable housing, which would kind of deter anybody from wanting to build in Simsbury. However, the thing that's odd is they're defining it by income, affordability, and then there's some other things about deed restrictions and some of the things I don't quite understand. But I think maybe Michael, you said this, there was 30 to 40% of our housing stock right now meets the standard of affordable housing based upon its sale price, but it's not meeting it based upon some of the state statutes. So I guess I'm just kind of letting you guys know what's going on. And I'm not sure what we can do to maybe bring some of that existing housing stock in so that we can get out of this trap where right now we're showing only 4% affordable housing. It's up to the standards of the state requirement, where we have 30 to 40% affordable housing. If you look at the sale prices of housing, that's what I'm trying to get my head around. And you got the public seems to be really pushing to make, we have to have more affordable housing based upon the state standard. I don't know if they understand how that works with reality of affordable housing. They didn't seem to have any concept of that, or at least they weren't talking about it. I guess, like, is there any way out of this? It seemed like we're kind of stuck. Is there?
We're creatures of statute, so we're stuck by the current statute at this point. 830G is what you're referring to, and 830J is the statute that requires us to develop a affordable housing plan. So, that definition of affordable housing that's in 830G, that's what we have to live by, purely from a statute perspective. But you're correct that there's a certain percentage of our housing stock that is below the magic numbers under 830G, how you determine incomes in affordability sales price. So we're those units, either some of them are not what's considered deed restricted, meaning that their prices are protected by a deed restriction, so that certain individuals making either 80 or 60% of the area median income could afford to live in the house, or the individuals living in the house are not receiving some sort of assistance, whether it's like, could be a rental situation, like a Section 8, getting rental vouchers, or it could be individuals that receive down payment assistance either through USDA loans or Connecticut Finance Housing Authority loans, et cetera. So those are where the points are covered to say that the portion of your housing stock is deemed affordable under Connecticut General Statutes 8-30G. Does that make sense, Ron? Maybe to go.
Yeah.
And maybe we can have a conversation offline after this, a little more detail.
Yeah, I guess I just, for the rest of the commission, I didn't know if there was how.
Yeah, Ron, my take is that, the planning commission and town staff, at least Mike, I haven't spoke to many other town staff on this subject, but our desire was to try to comply with the regulation. Okay. I think that there are certain people or groups of people in town that may see this as an opportunity to make other changes that are desirable to some people, not necessarily, directly related to 8-30G. So it's going to be very, we have to handle it gently. So
yeah, I guess I'd just bring it up on the standpoint of how does this develop or impact economic development? Obviously, the thing I saw is if
you listen to the people that spoke the other night, they said it was going to help the economy in Simsbury.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not if no one's going to come to the table to build anything. I understand.
Well, they contend people will.
They can.
I don't mean to take one side or the other. That's not my job right now. Okay. That's what I heard. The commissioners have not had a chance to exchange our views because we haven't had a meeting since, but we'll be taking that up next Tuesday. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I mean, this particular topic has gotten a lot of press in the current, and as we look across the state, I mean, there's this statute out there that no one seems to be following. And so one of the questions I had is, is this a legal requirement that we're somehow, subject to penalties or something if we don't?
Mike, you want me to field that one?
Yeah.
You can start, Bill.
I better make sure I'm right here. So, Bob, if a municipality does not comply with the minimum 10% affordable housing per the Connecticut definition, that leaves that municipality open to an application by a developer. And what's it called, Mike? It's the Affordable Housing Appeals Act.
Affordable Housing Appeals Act.
Where they can
basically
come in and propose something like the Climax Road subdivision that doesn't comply with our local regulations.
Oh, okay.
They get basically a free shot at a residential development with density bonuses. They get to say what the density will be for that development, provided that there's a set aside of deed restricted affordable units. So Climax Road is an example where they built 19 single family homes on 4.5 acres.
Yeah.
They had 6 affordable houses. So we ended up actually diluting our affordable housing number.
So it didn't help us.
No, it hurt us.
Really?
Yeah.
But you have a highly dense neighborhood in that area now.
Built 19 homes, right? So add 19 to the roll. Only 6 of them were affordable by the guidelines. So our average went down. So the law doesn't work. Okay.
Yeah.
What can the Economic Development Commission do to look at this or talk about it or research it?
Well, there were a couple of models that were mentioned by people in the public. One of them was called the Toronto model. I haven't done any investigation on it yet, but it's a particular approach to a dense housing development that has a mix, of types of homes and different let's say, income of affordabilities. I'd be curious to know if that is actually an economically sustainable model. The person who spoke said, "Hey, it's beautiful. I live there," but I don't know. Is it truly sustainable?
Bill, what was it called?
The Toronto model for affordable housing.
It's a document. It's a study. What is it?
It's a real life thing.
Yeah, it was a project, and I think she was referring to a study, but I'm in the same boat as you, Bill. I tried Googling it to find it, and I found different articles, but not a actual white paper report citing to this particular development.
What's our timetable? Or are we already under it? Or are we already past the penalty point here? So
we were hoping to have the affordability plan, or the affordable housing plan, completed by the end of the year. I still have some hope that we'll get that done. It's going to depend on what the commissioners' points of view are next Tuesday.
So if we have a plan that the state agrees that that's a reasonable approach, then we can avoid this. The developers have like an open season on. No, we're in there now. Unless you're going to wave the magic wand and give us 6% affordable housing tomorrow, we're still going to be subject to these appeals, because our numbers at 4% right now, or just a 4% and change. Until we get to 10% under the current law, we are open to those appeals anywhere in town.
As long as it has sewer and water.
Mike, you mentioned that there might be some way to bring some of this existing structure in by the things you're just saying. If we know that someone is using some kind of federal assistance for buying the house or whatever, that could qualify them, is there a way that we can find that out?
So we have those numbers. It's increasing those numbers is one of the actions that's identified in the plan. And one of the ways, and Bill, you can jump in if you want to, is doing a public education outreach with some of the listing agents, real estate agents in town, or just general public, and saying, there are these programs out here that could assist you, especially first-time home buyers, on purchasing a property. And when and if someone utilizes these programs, we get points towards our 10%, which then takes some of these houses, like, for example, like what was discussed Monday night at zoning, some of the EB housing that sells for less than $200,000. You get someone who's in an income bracket who's using that for a down payment assistance, we get points. Not only that, you have someone that may not otherwise afford to live in that house, now living in that house because they had either the down payment assistance or some other type of loan structure that provided them an avenue.
Sounds like a good approach that kind of solves the problems that they were stating.
Yeah, and just to really give it some numbers, using the 4+ change percent that we currently have in Simsbury, we need to add what, Mike, 481 residences. So
that's 481 deed restricted, and not a single market rate one.
Right. So it's a tall order. Our draft plan had a target of bringing the 4.74 number up to 5.74, or 1 percentage point over the next 5 years. We feel that that's a conservative number, but members of the public are like, you guys are crazy. You should not be stopping at 10%. You should be, making Simsbury a model for the country. So we got different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, look, that's kind of what's going on right now.
Ron, I want you on the planning commission.
So, Bill, going back to Tom Rowe's question, is there anything our small team here can do to provide any help or assistance to to,
I mentioned trying to dig up some information on this Toronto model. There was a lot of other comments made about how some of the changes that were being suggested actually improve the resiliency or vibrancy and economic stature of a municipality. I don't have any other supporting documentation on that. I don't know if that's something you guys want to try to dig up, either supporting it or not supporting it.
so how do you spell that study again, or what?
Well, yeah, I don't know what the official, it's called the Toronto model.
Is that a location?
It's in downtown Toronto.
Yeah, I have a son who lives in Toronto, so maybe I can look it up.
Yeah, there you go.
What position does he play in the hockey team, Tom?
He's a business guy up there, but
Okay.
but he lives in downtown Toronto, and I've visited Toronto several times.
Yeah, I don't see anything popping up on the internet either, Mike. But I'll tell you, those.
Yeah, it was brought up, but I didn't see how it had anything to do at all with Connecticut. But
Oh, here it is. Okay, Toronto, a housing model for urban America. Toronto may provide the best model for U.S. cities. It has embarked. Okay, let me just copy this URL, and I'll put it in the chat. Chat.
Well, Toronto's a little different from Simsbury, Connecticut.
Oops,
it is a little bit different.
It's a big, big, big city. Yeah. But I'd love to read the study.
All right, I put it in the chat window there, Tom, and everyone else. If that's one website that I saw that seemed to hit right on it.
Yep.
I'll read it.
And yeah, this woman that spoke, man, she said that she lived there. So yeah, Tom, maybe your son will know. You
may be able to find some articles up there. I can ask him.
Okay. So yeah, it's embarked on North America's most ambitious affordable housing plan. Toronto plans to build 40,000 new affordable housing units, and unlike comparable American cities, Toronto will expand affordability by rezoning city-owned lands and increase heights and density near transit stations. Okay, so there's a recipe to it.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we'll take a look at that.
That's what I think you could do for us.
All right. Well, Tom, you want to take a shot at that?
Yeah, I'll look into it. It's interesting.
Okay. You got some personal contacts up there that may be able to help you provide some realistic perspectives of how it's really working up there.
Yeah, I'll look into it.
Okay. Very good. Anybody else have anything to bring up? So anybody want to make a motion to adjourn the meeting of under just 1 hour?
So moved.
I second.
Charmaine, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody want to oppose closing the meeting? I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Have a wonderful, safe, and healthy Thanksgiving holiday, and we'll talk to you again in December.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay,
Hey,
thanks, everybody.